Hi there folks, day 3 of 4 here in Amsterdam at the International Broadcasting Convention. My name's Ahron Young. The ticker feed though first this hour.
3 cheers for His Majesty the King. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
3 cheers for the proclamation of King Charles III taking place in London as the new monarch is officially announced to the UK and to the world.
I now dedicate what remains to me of my life. I pray for the guidance and help of Almighty God.
Promising a life's dedication to the job as King Charles follows his mother's path of being monarch for life. There they are, 4 people united in grief. The Prince and Princess of Wales stepping out together with the Sussexes to meet crowds gathered outside of Windsor Castle. And in other non-royal related news today, or maybe it is, day 3 of the International Broadcasting Convention. We'll bring you all the action here live right now on Ticker News. So great to be with you at IBC. My name's Ahron Young, the CEO, the founder of Ticker News. First, our top story this hour. The Queen's coffin will leave Balmoral later and will be taken to Edinburgh on the first stage of its journey towards her funeral in London in just over a week's time. It comes after her son Charles was proclaimed King Charles III at a ceremony in London televised for the very first time. He also approved the day of the Queen's funeral, which will be Monday, the 19th of September, or Monday week, being a bank holiday. Speaking before the Accession Council at St James's Palace, the King says his mother's death had been an irreparable loss.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, it is my most sorrowful duty to announce to you the death of my beloved mother, the Queen. I know how deeply you, the entire nation, and I think I may say the whole world, sympathise with me in the irreparable loss we've all suffered. It is the greatest consolation to me to know of the sympathy expressed by so many to my sister and brothers, and that such overwhelming affection and support should be extended to our whole family in our loss.
The King had left Buckingham Palace and was heading down the Mall when he stopped to get out and to meet the thousands of well-wishers who've gathered in London outside of Buckingham Palace. Meanwhile, at St James's Palace, Charles acknowledged that this will be his job for life.
To confirm my willingness and intention to continue the tradition of surrendering the hereditary revenues, including the Crown Estate, to my government for the benefit of all, in return for the sovereign grant which supports my official duties as head of state and head of nation. And in carrying out the heavy task that has been laid upon me, and to which I now dedicate what remains to me of my life, I pray for the guidance and help of Almighty God.
Right, so imagine this, you're standing outside Windsor Castle there, just outside of London, when 2 cars arrive, park, and 4 people get out. Who are they? The new Prince and the Princess of Wales and the Sussexes, Harry and Meghan. Think of everything that's happened between these couples, and there they are now united in grief. And that's been enough for the newspapers in London to cover this story. We'll start off with the Daily Telegraph there. They've got it covered. The brothers, along with their wives, Catherine and Meghan, meeting crowds, looking at the floral tributes there, reunited in sorrow, while the Sunday Mirror in London has this instead, talking about reunited for Granny as well. The Sunday Times calling it now an awkward truce. That's all the news from London. Now let's get on to what's happening here at IBC. And it is so good to be with you. We are broadcasting live from the International Broadcasting Convention here in Amsterdam. It is day 3 of 4, a Sunday. Let's talk about the future of tech in this new broadcast and streaming world. For more, let's bring in Lewis Smithingham, the Head of Innovation at Media.Monks. Lewis, great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me
Welcome to the Tinker List and the Ticker Stand. Let's talk about what you guys are doing. So much change over the past couple of years. What's it been like?
It's actually been, I hate to say it, incredible. We're a digital first agency and production company and consulting firm, and we lean into anything that's digital. It's virtual, and as the last 2 years have gone, more and more stuff is shifting into digital and virtual spaces.
Of course.
We're seeing the rise of VR yet again. We're seeing the rise of the metaverse. And all of this represents, for me and for Media.Monks, a general trend towards virtualization and a single foundational truth that, frankly, if it's not interactive in this day and age, it might be broken.
Wow, it's kind of been like being on a mechanical bull the past couple of years, right? You're kind of like, you've stepped on, you think this is going to be a nice, pleasant ride, and off we go. No idea where we're going, which direction we're heading in, but you've got to hold on for dear life. You've talked about the metaverse, you've spoken about digital, and even about things like AI as well, VR. It's gone so quickly. Had you ever believed that so much could happen in such a short amount of time?
I mean, it's this amazing thing where the world is effectively on a war footing and we're creating so many new tools. It's a convergence point. You know, the last time we saw this with the rise of VR in 2015, accelerometer prices and small screens finally got good enough that you could actually make devices, and now we're seeing a convergence of a wide range of technology. And then COVID normalized behaviors like virtual hangouts, connecting virtually, and then a younger generation is coming to prominence where they spend most of their social lives in video games.
Yeah.
I think we're in a foundational change as a society and as a culture, and it's really, really exciting to be a part of it.
One of the things I think about over the last 10 years is that as technology changes so quickly, you get trends, but you also get fads. I think of 3D glasses. Remember those great things?
I was a
We all
stereographer.
thought that was going to be the future. Everyone rushed out and it was going to be great. But where are they now?
Yep.
How do you make sure in your role, particularly from a consulting perspective, that your clients aren't jumping on a fad that's around for a year?
That's a really good question. I look at core changes and groups of changes rather than individual changes. I personally am a huge fan of 3D glasses. And I have a 3D projector.
Do you?
Yeah,
Do you still use it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay.
It's awesome.
Right, you're the guy.
The one person. However, when you're a large company, like some of our big clients, we have the big 5 tech companies as our clients, you have to look at how they can create change and how they can create impact in people's lives. I tend to look at the way people spend their time now. And so if you think about right now, there's so many different screens and so many different ways to be distracted. When you're interacting with a thing, whether it's a game, whether it's an app, whether it's a virtual Oreo cookie, you have the opportunity to bring your attention into that space. And that's where impact and that's where meaning occurs. There are, of course, going to be fads. We've all seen the Gartner hype cycle.
Yeah.
We've seen absolutely ridiculous things come and go. I saw a pitch earlier for Olorama, which is a technology that's where it's like
What
theaters.
is that?
So that's our theaters where they release like smells. So you're flying through an orchard field and there's oranges.
Yeah, 6D or something.
No, it was very popular at the 1916 World's Fair. And you can.
I just want to smell popcorn.
Yeah, that's it. But the point is as we look in these technologies, we have to look at foundational trends. That's why as a company, we tend to think about the metaverse more as virtualization rather than directly this sci-fi term. While we enjoy the metaverse, we think that overall we're seeing a larger trend. And I think content creation and broadcast is going to be a core driver of all of that content, as we've seen historically.
What does the word broadcast mean these days? Because it doesn't seem cool to be a broadcaster, it seems cool to be a streamer, but broadcasting is still where a lot of the larger American companies still make their dosh. Look at CNN, for example, and how they went when they tried to get into streaming, lasted 3 weeks, right? So making sure that you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but then you look at NBC saying, Days of Our Lives now no longer belongs on broadcasting, it now belongs on Peacock, on streaming, because the audience is now narrow. What does broadcasting mean in a world where it's all about niches?
I think we have to open up that definition and look at it as, I view, my personal view of broadcasting is delivering live video and delivering content at a high level. And delivering at a level of quality that we've come to know and love from traditional broadcasters. I think the future of broadcasting is going to be much more wide open. As it becomes narrow right now, it will immediately open up. You look at the size of the viewership of some of the people on Twitch, some of the people on YouTube, and it's as big as affiliates are in certain parts of the United States. And the opportunity is to drive production value into those places and create huge amounts of content.
Production value is exactly the word, right? It might be content everywhere. You might be able to get that little slice of pizza wherever you go. but it's got to be good pizza.
Absolutely. I use a red cam on my Zoom calls.
What?
Yeah, and a lav, because you got to have production value.
Do you tell them you have to start off with, guys, you might notice I'm looking great.
I do flex.
I've got a red camera.
I mean, but the point is exactly that. When you look at some of these streamers, where we, as an industry, I think it's the first broadcast was 58 years ago now.
Right.
We have
the first streaming broadcast.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it feels for me.
But we have the opportunity to bring experience into that field, create production value, and when you look at how the opportunities, particularly for advertising in these spaces, as we're able to create catered audiences, we have to stop thinking about audiences as geographics and think more about psychogeographics. What's it like to broadcast the NBA to sneakerheads rather than just the New York area? What's it like to broadcast football directly to gamers?
So once upon a time, it was about finding new audiences. Now it seems to be that the larger organizations are trying to find audiences where they are and just catering to them where they are, as opposed to trying to drag them to where we are.
I think that's absolutely the case. I mean, frankly, myself as a young person, we're fundamentally somewhat lazy.
Oops, there goes your camera.
There goes my
Your
camera, my mic, and we don't like moving.
No.
And so as audiences shift, we need to make sure that we shift with them. And in the same way, you're not going to tear down a stadium and open up a stadium 8 miles down the road and expect the entire audience to travel. We need to do the same thing with virtual audiences.
All right, Lewis, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, that is Ticker News for now. I'm Ahron Young. Thank you so much for joining us. You can watch this wherever you find your great content. I'll see you soon.